Hi, Dr. Suming and my dear classmates. Today our group is going to present our pilot study named English Mandarin Translanguaging and Local Language Encounters among Chinese international postgraduate students at the University of Malaya. This is our group members Hu Qian, Wu Liyan, and Wang Weihong. Well, this is our table of contents. Next, I'll introduce the first three sections. Before I start, do you still remember EMI, which we learned about last week? EMI means English Medium Instruction, where English is used to teach academic subjects. But in real university life, EMI does not always mean an English-only environment. This is exactly the starting point of our study. At Chinese international postgraduates study through English while using Mandarin with peers and encountering Malay, Malaysian English, and other local linguistic resources. Here, Kamasak and Sarong's 2024 study reminds us that EMI success is not simply about using more English. Students' language-related challenges and perceived proficiency also matter. Similarly, a 2025 review by Paham and colleagues shows that students' first language can support content understanding, peer meaning-making, and social interaction in English medium education. As you can see, here is four ways the previous studies that support our topic. First, Chinese international students' language ideologies are shaped by academic needs, social relationships, future goals, and beliefs about English, Mandarin, and host society languages. Second, Chinese postgraduates in Malaysia EMI institutions face academic language challenges but develop coping strategies through teachers, peers, workshops, and learning resources. Third, translanguaging in EMI can support comprehension, expression, group discussion, and peer support in EMI classrooms. Finally, the distinction between academic and social context is also important. This is our three main research gaps. First, limited research has focused on Chinese postgraduates as multilingual language users. Second, English Mandarin translanguaging is still underexplored in Malaysian EMI contexts. Third, local language encounters such as Malay and Malaysian English have received limited attention. This is our two research objectives and research questions. Overall, this study is significant in three ways: theoretical contribution, research contribution, and practical contribution.
For the theoretical rationale, our study views multilingualism as students' use of different linguistic resources across contexts. So we do not treat multilingualism as simply using several languages equally. Instead, we focus on how students use different languages depending on academic, peer, and everyday situations. In this study, English is mainly understood as a resource for formal academic communication. Mandarin is viewed as a resource for academic understanding and peer support. Malay, Malaysian English, and Chinese varieties are treated as local language encounters. This framework helps us examine how Chinese international postgraduate students use language resources across different contexts. After defining multilingualism as situated repertoire use, this slide focuses on one key practice in our study: English Mandarin translanguaging. There are four main functions here. First, translanguaging helps meaning making because students may use English and Mandarin together to understand academic tasks. Second, Mandarin may support academic understanding, especially when students face difficult concepts or academic terms. Third, Mandarin can support peer discussion. For example, Chinese students may discuss coursework in Mandarin while keeping key English academic terms. Finally, Mandarin may also support a sense of belonging because it creates a shared understanding and peer solidarity among Chinese students. So in our study, Mandarin is not treated as a problem, it will as a possible academic and peer support resource. However, students' monolingual experiences at UN are not limited to English and Mandarin. It's also to local language encounter Malay or Malaysian English. Chinese international students study through English, but they also live and interact in a wider monolingual environment. In UM, they may encounter Malaysian English, campus styles, administrative communication, and daily interaction. These local resources may not be central to academic learning, but they can still shape everyday adaptation. For example, even if students do not use Malay frequently in academic tasks, limited Malay use can be meaningful. It shows how students selectively navigate the local monolingual environment. For the methodology part, our study adapts a small-scale mixed method survey design. The main instrument is an online questionnaire. It will focus on two parts. The first one is qualitative parts include multiple choice and Likert scale items. These items help us identify general patterns, such as how often students use English, Mandarin, or English Mandarin language in different contexts. The second one is qualitative parts, includes open-ended questions. This allows students to give short written examples and explain their experiences. For example, they may describe when Mandarin helps them understand difficult concepts or when they encounter Malay or Malaysian English in daily life. And the participants will be around 15 to 80 Chinese international postgraduate students at UM. And for this part, we focus on questionnaires variables, data analysis, and essays. For the variables, we will focus on language-related challenges, English proficiency, opinions, English Mandarin use, local language encounter. For the analysis part, we focus on two parts, qualitative and quantitative, used to identify patterns and explain students' experiences. For the last one is ethics. This part will focus on informed consent, voluntary participation, acknowledgments, and confidentiality.
Now I will present the final two sections of our study, potential charges and the proper solutions, followed by reflection. First, our study may face several charges. The first charge is social disability bias. Participants may underreport their use of Mandarin in academic settings to appear more proficient in English. To address this, we will ensure anonymity and use neutral wording to frame translanguaging as a useful academic resource. The second challenge is conceptual confusion. Some participants may not clearly understand terms such as translanguaging or local linguistic resources. Therefore, we will provide simple explanations and real-life examples from the UM context in the questionnaire. The third challenge is sample representativeness. As a pilot study, our sample size is small and may not reflect all Chinese postgraduate students at UM. For future research, we plan to use snowball sampling to reach participants from different faculties. Moving on to our reflection, this pilot study helped us refine our methodological approach. By adopting a mixed method survey design, we aim to balance quantitative patterns such as language, frequency, and preferences with qualitative insights from open-ended responses. This design also deepened our understanding of translanguaging. Initially, we viewed translanguaging as simple language switching between English and Mandarin. However, through the research design process, we came to understand it as a more fluid and strategic multilingual practice used for meaning making, academic understanding, and peer collaboration. Another important reflection concerns researcher positionality. As Chinese international students at UM ourselves, our insider perspective may help build trust and improve participant access. At the same time, we must remain aware of possible researcher bias, especially when interpreting multilingual practices that may seem normal to us. Finally, this pilot study highlighted several areas for future improvement, including refining questionnaire wording, expanding participant diversity, and strengthening our data analysis for Assignment 3. And here is our references. Thank you for your listening.